नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज हम पढ़ेंगे phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem of branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite, and rolled. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, and sunflower plant. In opposite type of pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in a Calotropis and guava plants. If more than two leaves arise at a node and form a roll, it is called a rolled, as in a Alastonia. China rose and guava Alastonia. Modification of leaves. Leaves are often modified to perform a function other than a photosynthesis. They are converted into tendrils for climbing, as in trees, into spines for defense, as in a cacti. The fleshy leaves of onion and garlic store food. In some plants, such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-lived. The petiole in this plant expanded become green and is synthesis food. Leaves of a certain insectivorous plant, such as a picture plant, Venus flytrap, are also modified leaves. The inflorescences. A flower is a modified shoot where in the shoot apical meristem change to flower meristem internode to do not elongated and the axis get condensed. The apex produce different kind of floral appendage laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transfer into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flower on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence, depending on whether the apex get developed into a flower or continues to grow. Two major types of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. A racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are borne in a basipetal order. That means is a cymose is racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. In symmetry, the flower may be a actinomorphic radially symmetry, a zygomorphic bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center, it is said to be actinomorphic. That is mustard, dhatura, chili, when it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, it is a zygomorphic. P. Gulmohar bean cassia. A flower is asymmetric, irregular if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in a canna. A flower may be a trimerous, tetramerous, या pentamerous when the flower appendages are in a multiply of 3, 4, या 5 respectively. Flower with brackets reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without ebracteate. Position of flower, parts of the thalamus, hypogymus, B and C perigymus, D is the epigymus. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, and androecium in respect of the ovary and thallus, the flowers are described as a hypogamous, perigamous, and epigamous. In the hypogamous flower, the gynoecium occupy the highest position, while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flower is said to be a superior. Monster China roses and brinjal in gynoecium is situated in the center, and other part of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus, almost at the same level. It is called perigymus. The ovary here is said to be half inferior, that is plume rose. Plume rose pitch in epigamous flower in margin of a thalamus grow upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other part of flower arises above the ovary, hence the ovary is said to be inferior, as in a flower of guava and cucumber at the reflorate of sunflower. Part of sunflower. Part of flowers. Each flower normally has a four floral whorl, that namely calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Androecium is the male reproductive part, and gynoecium is a female reproductive part. The calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower, and the members are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like, and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous, sepals united, या polysepalous, sepals free. Corolla. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may also be gametopetalous, petal united. Polypetal, petal free. Shape and color of corolla vary greatly in plant. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped, या wheel-shaped. Androecium, gynoecium, corolla, calyx, pedicel. Calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. Estivation, the mode of arrangement of sepals या petal in flower bud with respect to the other member of the same role is known as Estivation. The main types of estivation are velvet, twist, imbricate, and auxiliate. When sepal or petal in a membrane just touch one another at the margin without overlapping as in a calotropos, it is said to be valvate. If one margin of appendages overlap that of the next one and so and as in China rose, lady finger and cotton, it is called a twist. The margin, if the margin of sepal or petal overlap one another, but not in any particular direction. As a cassia and glumohar, the estivation is called imbricate. In pea and bean flower, there are five petals. The largest standard overlap the two lateral petal wing, which is the turn overlap the two smallest anterior petal gill. This type of estivation is a auxiliary papillinoaceae. Ring type structure not just five-fold and radially structure is known as a valve twisted alternate one on the one twisted imbricate true and one is twisted auxiliate. Auxiliate is the structure of the triangle. Androsium is composed of stamens, each stamen which represented the male reproductive organ consists of a stalk, a filament, and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has two chambers. The pollen sac, the pollen grain are produced in pollen sac. A sterile stamen is called a staminode. Stamens of flower may be united with other members such as petal among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petal, they are epipetalous as in brinjal, epiphyllous. When attached to the perianth, as in the flower of lily, the stamens in a flower may either remain free polyandrosium, may be united in the varying degrees. The stamen may be united into one bunch, one bundle, monoadelphous, as in a China rose, two bundles, diadelphous, as in a pea, into more than two bundles, polyadelphous, as in a citrus. There may be a variation in the length of filamentous within a flower, as in salvia and mustard. Gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of one or more carpels. A carpel consists of three parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at a tip of the style and is the respective surface of for pollen grain. Each ovary bears one or more ovules attached to a flattened cushion-like placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be a free, as in a lotus and rose, and are called apocarpus. They are termed as syncarpus. When carpels are fused in a mustard and tomato after fertilization, the ovules develop into seeds and the ovary matures into a fruit. Placentation. The arrangement of ovules with the ovary is known as a placentation. The placentation are a different types of, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central, and free central. In marginal placentation, the placenta form a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary, and the ovules are born in this ridge, forming two rows, each in a P. When the placenta is axial and the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axial, as in a China rose, tomato, and lemon. In a parietal placentation, the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary. Yeah, on peripheral part, ovary is one chambered, but it become a two chambered due to the formation of the false septum, master, and arginum. When the ovules are born on central axis and sepal are absent, and dianthus and primose, the placentation is called central in basal placentation. The placenta develop at the base of ovary, and a single ovule is attached to it as in sunflower marigold. Thank you so much. Subscribe, share, and comment.